Hello YouTube. Today I bring a video that has been on my mind for quite some time now, and that's the power of devil fruits. Not necessarily how it comes to be and works, more like the actual power or items the user can control or do. But not using anime logic, I am more like gonna explain everything I can and know using real life science. That's gonna be a topic to take care of because, as we know, anime tends to focus on the supernatural and unexplainable things. Logic is not even a word for what anime characters can do or become, which makes this topic difficult to explain. Basically, this blog will explain the power of devil fruits and I guess abilities, you can call it, the science behind it, I suppose. Now, before like half of you start to complain, saying how much you despise or hate science, please continue reading. I think you will find what I have to offer quite interesting. If you're still not hooked, I plan to explain devil fruit powers in both anime and real life, and how to make an overpowered devil fruit, or how to gain the upper hand with devil fruits is more the praise. That probably gained your attention, but be warned, I plan to go really scientific with most of this, so if you can't handle big words or phrases, yeah, you have been warned. Science behind powers, real life and anime. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a very hard topic to uncover. Not really the anime part about it, but the real life part about it. Because let's face it, the real world is boring. When a real life human being fights with a sword or weapon, they are pretty much limited to the human body's capabilities and what it allows us to do. However, in an anime character can do the same actions without breaking a sweat. They can do so much more even with what a normal human body cannot handle. The same can go for a normal person's speed, agility, strength, and endurance. With a regular human body in real life, we cannot handle such trauma to it or we die. That's a little off topic right now, but maybe I will talk about it later. Back to my topic, which as the science behind the devil fruit powers. It's very hard to explain what I mean by that, but I can explain it by giving an example, by explaining a power of character. For this I will be explaining Luffy's devil fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or the Gam Gam fruit. I can tell a lot of you people are probably yelling at me, saying, we already know his devil fruit, idiot, it's rubber. And yeah, you are right, he is made of rubber. However, do you know what tube of rubber? That probably got you thinking a bit. Hopefully, you see there is not just one tube of rubber. There are many tubes of rubber, each with a special property that makes it unique and different from the other tubes of rubbers. You see, Luffy's devil fruit is called the Gam Gam fruit, or rubber fruit, but it never says what model or tube of rubber, meaning Luffy can basically control all most different tubes of rubber. We know this because of his gears. Have you ever asked yourself where did he get those gears and what do they mean? Probably not. But now that I said it is gets you thinking, now let me tell you this. Have you noticed each gear's different abilities? That has to be yes, as we see it most of the time. But that's what I mean by different tubes rubbers. First, let's look at Luffy's original rubber. Luffy can stretch great distance and always return to his original shape, so this means he has very high and good elasticity and tension. After doing some research, I found his rubber, including more tubes of rubbers and rubber qualities. Luffy's rubber, or the closest component and factors to his rubber, is called natural gum rubber. The rubber has superior resilience, tensile strength, elasticity and abrasion resistance. Sounds quite similar to Luffy's rubber properties, right? able to stretch without breaking, stretching for great distance and always returning to its original shape or form. Now, let's move on to Gear Second. What do we know about it? Well, for one, it gives Luffy incredible speed and does require the use of heat as steam emanates from his body. It is also mentioned that when Luffy was using Gear Second in his giant form, when he activated Gear Second, Chopper complained about how it was a strong hot wind. So we have speed and heat that needs to be written down or taken into account for this. Now we get to the part where I explain the part about different rubbers, because in case you didn't know, natural tree rubber is not very heat resilient. Basically that means if Luffy's body didn't adapt to such heat or change its rubber properties to accommodate such heat, we will definitely see our favorite captain die the moment he used that gear. So he would have had to change his rubber properties or components to accommodate such heat and stretchy abilities, and the fames of Red Hawk, as we know he uses Gear Second when activating this move. And what do you know? There is a rubber that fits that description pretty well. This rubber is called White-on rubber. This rubber resists corrosive environments with exceptional resistance to heat, aging, weather, ozone, oxygen, and sunlight. It's also well to mention its good flame resistance. This type of rubber is usually used for thick elastic gloves used to treat and work with chemicals and fire to a certain extent. This sounds like quite the rubber to be used in Gear Second. It fits all the aspects needed to make such rubber abilities for Luffy. I will explain the other gears, but you get the point of what I am saying, hopefully. Now, I suppose that covers the real life and anime logic for the powers. Speaking of real life, could it be possible to have real life rubber powers? The answer to that is no. Whoa, you did all that just to tell me I can't be a real rubber user? Thanks, man. Now, before you go all saying that, there is actually a way to be like a rubber. No, not turning your body into actual rubber, more like giving the illusion of being rubber because of two things: flexibility and elasticity. Flexibility such as contortion. If you don't know what contortion is, it's basically when the human body's joints don't harden properly. What I mean by that is this: as you grow older, your bones harden and become more brittle, making it harder for adults and especially old people to move around with. But as a child, your bones are more flexible and easier to bend without cracking. Back to contortion. It's basically like having children bones in your body, making them easy to bend and manipulate without breaking or shattering, giving the illusion of a rubber man or woman. Elasticity. Now we move on to elasticity, which is basically means the ability to stretch. Pretty straightforward. Also, this power is more of a disease or disorder. It's a disease called Ehlers-Danlos, or ADS for short, which basically allows the skin to hang or be pulled away to a certain extent before being let go and returning back to the body. This can also give the illusion of a rubber man or woman. Okay, science behind making devil fruit powers. Want to know the secret to making a good and powerful devil fruit? It's really simple. Just what do I mean by knowing your stuff? It's quite simple, really. Just know your stuff. What I mean by that is that when making a devil fruit, you have to know what it is. I cannot tell you how many times I have come across a devil fruit with a power that makes absolutely no sense. To make a good devil fruit, we first need to do some research. Of course, this is anime, however, and most of the time it's hard to explain things as it sometimes focuses on the supernatural, such as ghosts, demons, angels, or other things, and while that may be hard to do, we still need information on it. It makes me angry that people pick a devil fruit power and don't even know what that power is or how it works, so they make up stuff to accommodate such a power name. Seriously, so as an example, let's take a power and explain it to show what I mean. Let's use the sun for this example. Now, when the word sun comes to mind, you probably are thinking of a ball of fire in the sky, and to that I shake my head in shame, because the sun is not made of fire, it's a hot ball of gas. No, or to be exact, gases and elements which form a plasma. To be exact, the sun is made up of different tubes of gases and elements, gases such as hydrogen, helium, oxygen, and carbon, nitrogen. As for the elements, the sun is made as well with neon, silicon, iron, magnesium, and sulfur. So, what does it mean? You get to control gases? Technically, yes. However, that's not deep enough to what the sun is made up of, because also it's gas, it's plasma as well. What's plasma? To put it very simple, a plasma is an ionized gas, a gas into which sufficient energy is provided to free electrons from atoms or molecules and to allow both species, ions and electrons, to coexist. So that would mean technically you would be a plasma user and not a sun user. You did all that to tell me I am not a sun? Well, yes, certain. But what I actually did was give you a wider variety of powers and abilities, because what most people don't know is that plasma is a very common element in the universe. It's rare on planet Earth, however in the stars and sun there is plasma. As well, the user can use the intense heat of the plasma to change nearby gas into plasma. There is as well man-made plasma, such as neon in zoos, hiked they put in front of stores and whatnot. As well as neon, plasma is also in lightning as well as some fires, but not the actual substance, just the chain reaction of plasma in fire. How? Plasma is when the electrons are freed from their host atoms for a short time. Due to high temperatures, fire can also be a type of plasma, as it responds to electric fields. Lightning is also plasma. When a column of electrons flows from sky to ground, the air that it passes through lights up with energy. So now we get to the conclusion or the small summary of the video. Hopefully you learned something from this video or not. Either way, I just wanted to make a few things clear before anyone makes a devil fruit. I feel they should do more research on what that power is and what that capability is. It's not just about a power or ability one can do, because if you actually had that power, you would most certainly die unless you planned out everything that can and can't happen with your power. Science is the key to winning any fight, really, even if you hate it. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed me being a nerd for like 2 hours, or however long it takes you to read this. Thank you for watching this, and sorry if it was not properly ordered, but I just had to let the One Piece community know about this, because I feel that science is important in this, even if people don't see it. That's all. Goodbye.